Here are some hidden heroes who took things to the next level by saving these Arctic animals. In the twilight of an endless Arctic day, the vast white landscape shimmered with ice and light. Amidst this frozen expanse, a lone polar bear named Nanuk found himself stranded on a drifting ice floe far from his usual hunting grounds. His massive frame, usually the embodiment of Arctic majesty, now moved with a cautious, desperate energy as the floe began to crumble. Enter Lena, a dedicated rescue volunteer with years of experience in the frozen wilderness. Equipped with insulated gear, a robust snowmobile, and an unyielding determination, Lena embarked on a mission to save Nanuk. As she approached the fragile ice, the bear's wary eyes met hers, a silent plea for help. Lena knew that the bear's survival depended on swift, compassionate action. With careful precision, she secured a specialized harness designed to support Nanuk's weight and steadied him as the floe trembled beneath his paws. The rescue was a delicate dance. Each step required coordination. As the ice cracked beneath them, Nanuk shifted his massive body to follow Lena's lead. She navigated around precarious edges and through narrow channels of open water, speaking in soft, soothing tones that resonated with the ancient spirit of the Arctic. The entire ordeal was a mix of tension and tenderness, a melding of man's technological ingenuity and nature's raw, unforgiving beauty. On a frigid morning when the first pale light crept over a snow-blanketed coastline, a young harp seal pup named Mira was discovered struggling amidst a labyrinth of ice. Separated from her family by an unexpected storm, the tiny creature shivered on an isolated piece of ice, her soft gray fur dotted with traces of salt water and ice. Amid the howling winds and the ceaseless rhythm of the waves, Jonah, a seasoned marine wildlife rescuer, spotted Mira from his vantage point on a sled. His eyes widened with both concern and resolve. He had dedicated his life to the rescue and rehabilitation of Arctic marine life, and this moment was one he would never forget. With gentle steps, he approached the pup, mindful of the fragile trust that existed between them. Jonah's hands were careful and deliberate as he wrapped Mira in a thermal rescue blanket specially designed to mimic the warmth of her natural habitat. He cradled her as if she were a delicate treasure, assuring her with soft whispers and slow, rhythmic strokes against her back. Every moment was laden with both urgency and a calm focus. The winds threatened to whisk Mira away, and the biting cold was an ever-present enemy. Jonah's expertise shone as he used insulated containers filled with heated water and strategically placed them around her shelter to create a microenvironment of comfort and security. Slowly, Mira's shivering subsided, replaced by a tentative calm. In that quiet sanctuary of snow and ice, the seal pup's eyes began to sparkle with a glimmer of hope. With her first tentative steps toward Jonah's outstretched hand, she embraced the warmth that had once been lost to the brutal Arctic. Jonah knew that Mira's journey toward recovery would be long, but with each careful rescue, the circle of life in the Arctic grew a little brighter. Under the shimmering curtain of the northern lights, the Arctic landscape revealed its many hidden wonders. In a remote, snow-dusted glen, a small Arctic fox named Siku lay wounded near a frozen stream. His once vibrant coat had dulled, and a deep gash on his side glistened under the starry sky. Alone and vulnerable, Siku's survival was threatened by the brutal cold and the predators that lurked in the dark. In these dire moments, Amara, a compassionate wildlife veterinarian with a fearless spirit, found her calling. Known for her gentle touch and unwavering dedication, she ventured into the wilderness armed with medical supplies, a portable warming tent, and an instinct that told her this fox was worth every risk. Approaching Siku cautiously, Amara knelt beside him in the soft snow, speaking in hushed, reassuring tones that mingled with the rustle of the wind. She carefully examined the wound, her skilled hands applying a mix of traditional herbal remedies and modern antiseptics designed for the extreme conditions. The fox, though in pain, sensed that help had arrived. Amara wrapped Siku in a specially made thermal blanket and gently transferred him into the warming tent. Inside, the atmosphere was a stark contrast to the bitter cold outside. Soft heat radiated from a portable stove, creating an oasis of comfort. As she sutured the gash with careful precision, the aurora above seemed to dance in support of the healing process. Throughout the long night, Amara remained by Siku's side, monitoring his condition, offering gentle strokes, and sharing stories of the wild that lifted his spirits. By dawn, the fox's eyes opened with a renewed spark, a quiet testament to his resilience and the power of compassionate care. Far out in the icy waters where the horizon melted into a blur of endless blue and white, a young walrus calf named Kala found herself separated from the protective herd. The rolling sea, punctuated by floating icebergs and shifting currents, was as dangerous as it was mesmerizing. Kala's large, soulful eyes reflected both confusion and fear as she drifted into an area riddled with hidden cracks in the ice. In a nearby research station, a dedicated team of marine biologists and rescuers had been monitoring walrus migration patterns. Among them was Mikhail, a seasoned caretaker with a deep bond for these ancient creatures. When Kala's distress signal reached him, he swiftly assembled a team and set out in a specially modified boat designed for the treacherous conditions of the Arctic Sea. As they approached Kala, the scene was one of both beauty and peril. The calf was attempting to swim toward a seemingly stable patch of ice, her bulky form bobbing uncertainly against the relentless pull of the current. Mikhail's team acted with precision. One member skillfully guided a sturdy lifeline toward Kala, while Mikhail, with steady hands, managed to secure her with a gentle padded harness. Kala's rescue was a tense operation. The icy water splashed against the boat as she struggled against the current, and every moment was fraught with the danger of slipping beneath the surface. Yet, through careful coordination and a deep understanding of the walrus's behavior, the team was able to guide her safely onto a floating platform. Once secured, the rescuers quickly checked for injuries and ensured she was hydrated and warm. As the calf's strength gradually returned, the team prepared to reintroduce her to her family, confident that this rescue would give her the chance to grow strong under the watchful eyes of the Arctic herd. High above the frozen tundra where snow-capped mountains met endless skies, a small, fragile Svalbard reindeer named Ira wandered alone. Separated from her herd during a sudden blizzard, Ira's delicate legs and wide, sorrowful eyes told a story of loss amid the harsh Arctic winter. The biting wind and swirling snow had rendered the landscape a disorienting maze, and hope seemed as distant as the farthest star. In the midst of this frozen solitude, Ingrid, a local guardian with an intimate knowledge of Arctic survival, discovered Ira huddled beneath a snow-laden pine. With a heart as warm as the summer sun, Ingrid gently coaxed the frightened reindeer from her hiding spot. She wrapped Ira in a soft insulated blanket and led her to a nearby shelter built to withstand the extreme elements. Inside the modest cabin, a haven of flickering light and gentle warmth, Ingrid tended to the reindeer with meticulous care. She shared stories of the ancient lands and the eternal cycle of life in the Arctic, infusing Ira with a quiet courage that was as much about survival as it was about belonging. With each tender brush of her hand, Ingrid's compassion mended not only the physical chill that had gripped the young reindeer, but also the wounds of isolation that threatened to consume her spirit. Days turned into weeks, and under Ingrid's vigilant care, Ira began to thrive. The once dim eyes now shone with a spark of hope, and the reindeer's nimble steps grew confident on the snowy ground. Ingrid knew that the moment would come when Ira would rejoin her herd, carrying with her the resilience born of human kindness and the indomitable spirit of the Arctic. When that day arrived, Ingrid led Ira out onto the vast, glittering expanse of the tundra, where the distant silhouette of a reindeer herd beckoned like a promise. The reunion was tender and heartwarming, a testament to the enduring power of compassion in a world where nature's harsh beauty was often tempered by moments of unexpected grace.